What I want to talk about today is optimism. I don't think there's a more timely occasion to lean into optimism. And the biggest lever, as I think everyone in this room knows, that we can turn in fighting climate change is the built world. It's no secret the built world is responsible for 40% of greenhouse gas emissions. And there's global headlines like 5 billion people will face extreme heat at least 1 month out of the year by 2050. And these headlines are like really depressing and they're kind of terrifying. But at the same time, I have a lot of confidence that the real estate industry is ready to lead the way in decarbonization. And the world has just noticed the incredible technologies that are coming out of our industry, including many of the companies that are in fifthwall's portfolio. So we have Ascend Elements, Assembly OSM, Brimstone, Embergy, Flow Carbon, Impulse Labs, Loop, N0, Roadrunner, Runwise, Sealed, and many more that are just doing amazing things in addressing this problem. These technologies are not just noteworthy for their technical marvel, but their scalability and their practicality as well. Real estate owners, especially those in our climate fund, are further playing this incredible role by scaling these groundbreaking technologies in their portfolios. The next is pragmatic owners and operators of real estate. So real estate owners are the most critical, most essential part of this imperative to decarbonize the built environment. Fifthwall's investors have done something that very few real estate firms ever have. They actually invested into climate tech. With their support, we have raised the single largest pool of capital ever to decarbonize the global real estate industry. And our investors are adopting our tech solutions at enormous scale. And not just driven by altruism, but actually by pragmatism, because they're responding to the pressures that are confronting the real estate industry today. So many of the industry's largest tenants, these flagship tenants, have made promises to go carbon neutral. These are companies like Amazon and Apple and Starbucks and FedEx and Microsoft, and the list goes on. Basically what that means is that energy inefficient real estate is basically going to be unleasable by the largest tenants on earth. And if you have unleasable real estate, you don't have real estate. The second is that capital is preferentially flowing to lower carbon footprint real estate. And now more energy efficient buildings have demonstrably lower costs of capital, and the spread is widening. Finally, you have federal, state, and local regulation that's driving momentum. Everyone knows about New York's Local Law 97, which is demanding these ambitious emissions cuts from buildings and extensive associated fines for owners who don't comply. But it's not just a New York or a blue state phenomenon. This is a truly nationwide trend. Carbon neutrality laws and carbon fines, which are truly a novel thing from a policy perspective, they are about to become ubiquitous in every American city. That's a pragmatic response to the problem. And I think the third thing to be optimistic about is pragmatic regulators. Governor Wes Moore committed to reducing Maryland's carbon emissions by 60% by 2030. You have California, Virginia, Hawaii, all of them have to be carbon neutral by 2045. And several other states are pledging carbon neutrality by 2050. And to its enormous credit, the federal government has also taken the boldest climate action in history, passing both the Inflation Reduction Act and the Infrastructure and Jobs Act, which is investing billions of dollars into climate resilience, weatherization, zero-emission transportation, and electric infrastructure. But it's not just governments that are investing in decarbonization. It's actually private markets, which is why all of us are here today. Private capital markets are focusing on the built world for the first time ever as it relates to decarbonization, and investment is going to flow into the space. I've long said that the energy transition represents, I think, the largest mobilization of capital in human history. I mean, that is a true economic opportunity, but literally that is exactly what is happening. The earth is shifting under our feet. That is afoot right now. So why am I certain that investment will only continue to grow? Fifthwall's inaugural climate fund, first time we'd ever raised the fund, 5x'd the amount of capital that had ever been committed to decarbonize the real estate industry. 5x'd it in the human history. That is parabolic growth that I think we are at the dawn of, and I think you're gonna see a tidal wave of capital flow into this space. And every entrepreneur, every investor, every policymaker in this room should be genuinely excited about that. I wanna leave you with this. The magnitude of this crisis and therefore the immensity of the opportunity at hand, it just does not afford the luxury of pessimism. Pessimism is a luxury. And there's really only one way forward, which is decarbonization and a lot of optimism and a lot of energy around it. And so even in the face of today's negative narratives, I personally remain really optimistic precisely because of those four things: pragmatic entrepreneurs, pragmatic real estate owners and operators, pragmatic regulators, and pragmatic investors, many of whom are all here right in this room. So thank you for being here. Cheers.